Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching the Political Vigilante. Progressive Comedy Tour is coming. The Gulf States this week, March 10th through the 13th, Lafayette, Louisiana, Oxford, Mississippi, Pensacola, Florida, and New Orleans. Texas, April 12th through the 15th. Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. May, we're going to Salt Lake City and Boise. June, the East Coast tour, man. DC, Baltimore, 2 nights in Philly, New Haven, Connecticut, New York City, and Boston. We're going to be adding more dates. Check that out. So an article just came out based on a new poll in The Intercept here. Bernie Sanders is beating Kamala Harris 2-1 among black Democratic primary voters, a new poll finds. This is the overall of the poll. Joe Biden, 31% of the vote. Bernie Sanders, 27. Kamala, 11. Elizabeth Warren, 7. Beto, 6. Corey, someone else. Tulsi's all the way down here. That's a little bit of a bummer, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. But this poll, and I'll put the link to the Intercept articles in the show notes, and in there you can click to this poll, and it's really very detailed, but the article does a good job of summarizing it. Sanders' support among black voters at 28% puts him in second place among that demographic behind Biden at 32%. He trailed Biden 31-25 among whites. Wait, I thought only millennial sexist burn bros. I thought it was only white dudes with man buns and chair-throwing hate in their heart. That same poll found that demographic Sanders is least popular with, at 19% and 7% respectively, Democrats who make more than $100,000 per year. Rich corporate Democrats don't support him. Pie in the sky, how are we going to pay for it? I went to college. I make $100,000 a year. I got health care. Just go do that. Person that lives somewhere where there's no good schools or college or job opportunities, and you either have to work for Walmart, Amazon, or the Army. Just go do that. Gee, I wonder why the Democratic Party is out of touch with middle America. I can't seem to figure it out. Structural wealth and income gaps. That population is heavily white. The $100,000 crowd. Sanders, meanwhile, receives his strongest support from those making $50,000 or less a year. Weird that when 60% of the country doesn't have $500 to $1,000 in savings, when people are working 2 and 3 jobs, and they don't have anything to show for it other than just paying, they're just living from paycheck to paycheck, barely getting their bills paid, that they would resonate with the guy that wants to get them Medicare for all and $15 an hour and free college tuition. Just get born into a better family that can afford to pay for college. When I went to college, it was $8,000 a year. It was $32,000 for me to get a 4-year degree. Now it's $150,000, $200,000. I can't believe this. Gee, these millennials with this crushing student loan debt that everyone gets mad at. You're mad at the millennials? Why? What did they do? They were born into this shitty environment. We've been at war for 17 years. So if you're an older millennial, meaning early 30s, we've been at war half of your life. That's if you're an older millennial. If you're a younger millennial, there's privates enlisting in the Army that were born after 9/11. So the Afghanistan war has been going on longer than enlisting privates have been alive. And you're wondering why I don't get it. And here's something weird. The group that makes $50,000 or less a year is much more diverse. Oh, that's weird. Again, I thought only white burn bros. Wait a minute, so Bernie is resonating with the majority? Oh, because the ruling class fucks over everybody. So if you're part of the 99%, guess what? He might actually be good for you. The poll found that 30% of those with the lowest incomes backed Sanders. Now remember, that's because he has 27 and because this is all this. Look, what is there? 15 name, whatever. How many names here? So when this starts to narrow, he's going to pick up these other ones because he's not going to run out of money. He's not going to run out of. He's pretty good at raising money because the majority of the people, and when you make less than $50,000 a year, you can give a guy 27 bucks. When you're Wall Street's buddy, you can still pick up the votes. Get ready for this ticket, Biden, Kamala Harris. See that? Get ready for that. You know they're already talking about that. February's Harvest-Harris poll found that 56% of black voters preferred a mostly socialist economic system against 44% who want a mostly capitalist one. 56% of black voters want socialism. You know who else wanted socialism? Dr. King wanted socialism. All of those socialist speeches are pretty well scrubbed from the history books. Dr. King wanted socialism. Malcolm X talked about socialism. Fred Hampton, head of the Black Panther Party in Chicago, talked about socialism, and he talked about how capitalism creates racism. Fred Hampton did the first ever Rainbow Coalition in, I think, either 68 or 69, where he got poor working class whites in the city of Chicago, many of whom were like racist, had Confederate flags, and he got them together and said, hey, we're all getting screwed. And the FBI and Chicago police killed him. You know who doesn't want socialism?
That part of the concern also for people who are progressive thinking and liberal-minded, or just progressive thinking in terms of just fix it, is that we all have these posters in our closet that is attached to a stick that we sometimes will card out when we're talking about criminal justice policy and those statistics that you first heard when we opened it up, incarceration. And we run around with these signs, build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere, build more schools, we protest, build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. And it's this. I agree with that conceptually, but you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door.
Yes, I just did. If you build more prisons, we're going to have more crime because the private prison industry pays politicians such as yourself, Kamala. If we build more schools, we will have less crime. Thanks for getting your news elsewhere. Thanks for coming to YouTube to get your news. I appreciate you supporting the show. Like, subscribe, share the videos. Get the word out. We just passed 17,000 subscribers. 2 years ago, we had 164. That's thanks to you.